Today, I'm going to share about one of the lowest points of our brewing career. My name's Alexandra. Husband Trent and I started Shades Brewing, and we make the best beer and seltzer you've ever had. Through this vlog, you join us and the team on our journey. The City Weekly Beer Festival is coming up. They're on their 11th year, and we were at the very first one. But getting there was really, really hard for us. It almost ended our brewing career before we even got started. So in 2010, we were young, naive, and full of dreams. We thought that we could start a brewery working just part-time evenings and weekends. We got this little place in Park City that was really tiny. How much beer can you make on a Sapco system?
About 12 gallons.
We were so excited when we got that invitation from City Weekly to attend a beer festival. We weren't even open yet, and here we were getting invited to a beer festival. In Utah, there had not been a festival in probably over a decade. It was revolutionary. It was an amazing opportunity, and we were like all in. So at this time, we didn't even own a keg box. I know when we got started, you didn't want to buy a keg box. You wanted to make your own.
Oh, you're talking about a jockey box.
A jockey box.
Yeah.
So how come?
Well, they're really expensive for one.
So how did you make this contraption?
Well, I took a 55-gallon plastic drum, and I insulated the inside of that with 1-inch pink styrofoam insulation, the Pink Panther. And then I put a 35-gallon drum inside that, which held 3 6-barrels and ice. And it had a lid on it, and then we drilled the taps through the sidewall of the 55-gallon drum. It worked out really well until you had to change the kegs, and then you held the ice full to the bottom. You couldn't get the kegs in it. So.
One of the most challenging aspects of making to this festival is that we didn't have any beer on hand. So Trent had some recipes that he had been working on. He'd gotten some great feedback from friends, so he was ready to test them out on the public. There was a really, really tight timeline, and we didn't have all the ingredients on hand. So we had stayed up many late nights trying to get all this brewing done. And then when the yeast didn't arrive, all we could do is just hope for the best. So the yeast arrived the very next day, but the beer didn't make it. I had never seen Trent this upset. At first, there was a lot of noise. There was yelling and cursing and banging things around. And then there was just silence. Yeah, it was a bad day.
Yeah, it was a bad day.
It was a really bad day.
Yeah, I worked all night, all day, all night to have beer go bad because we were brewing 12 gallons, 15 gallons at a time, harvesting 12 to fill up a 3-barrel tank, multiple 3-barrel tanks. That was a tough one. That was when I questioned what I was doing in the business and why I was even here.
If I were to compare this experience to a beer, I would have to choose St. Blackout.
We didn't have a name for the beer yet, and we were just testing it out. And we had a local event that night, and Zach started drinking a little bit of it, and he made the mention that he had a bad hangover in the morning from the beer because it's 10% alcohol. And I said, yeah, that beer was St. Blackout for you, and that's how the name came about.
Well, the yeast arrived the very next day. There was just no way that we could brew enough beer. There just wasn't enough time because our brew system was too tiny. So the next day, he was still really bummed, and I just couldn't see him defeated. It's just not who he is. He's never like that. So I started asking him some questions. One of them being, well, What if you had 2 brew systems?
Talked to somebody who knew somebody that had one, and I borrowed it out of Salt Lake. I can't even remember how I found it, to tell you the truth. So we got another one, and then we had to make up time, so we brewed around the clock, making 24 gallons instead of 12 gallons. It was still crazy. I don't know what we were doing, what we were thinking.
He did it. We were able to make enough beer for the festival. The festival was a huge success. It was packed. I think they sold all the tickets in record time. City Weekly Festival coming up. See you there. So what's the origin story of the festival? Stay tuned till the end, where I bring on the organizers to tell you all about it. I hope to see you at the City Weekly Festival. If all goes according to plan, Trent and I will be there on Sunday, and Kurt and Ellie are going to be there on Saturday. So I am going to introduce you to Kurt Flickinger and Ellie McDonald. So what do you like to do outside of work?
I like to hang out with my dog all the time. I weirdly am super passionate about the ocean. I have all these ocean themed tattoos. Love sharks, love shark conservation. Hang out with friends for sure.
Tell us a little bit about your dog.
So my dog is a year-old boxer Australian Shepherd Chow Chow Lab mix. He weighs 100 pounds, literally weighs as much as I do. I now have muscles because of him. He's the best.
And how did you find him?
I found him on KSL, actually, throughout quarantine.
Wow, he's so cute.
Right?
And now I'm going to introduce you to Kurt Flickinger, who's going to tell you what beers we're going to bring to the City Weekly Festival.
What's up? It's Kurt from Shades Brewing Company, coming to talk to you about City Weekly Beer Festival. It's happening August 21st and 22nd at the Gateway downtown. We're going to have some cool new beers there that'll be pretty exciting to come and try. We're going to have the Pineapple Orange Banana Slurry, our triple fruited series, in a slushy machine. So it's going to be frozen, cold, delicious, amazing. It'll be a nice and cool down for you, a cool down drink for you. So come and try that. We're also going to have a raspberry seltzer and a plum Berliner Weiss and peach cobbler, usually everybody's fan favorite, and our tropical rain, which is pineapple, pomegranate, strawberry. And then we're also going to have Thai Tom Kha, another big favorite, and the Hazy Bra Oated IPA. It's part of our Hazy IPA series. So come on and check us out down at City Weekly. Should be a good time. Hey guys, this is Kurt from Shades Brewing Company. I'm the sales team, all of us together, but it's really just me. I've been here at Shades for 3 years now, which seems pretty crazy that it was 3 years ago, but it's been a lot of fun. And if I'm not here at Shades or in a bar trying to sell shades or wherever else, I'm usually up at Snowbird or doing some rivers or mountain biking, all kinds of things outside. But usually all those still involve drinking beer. So it's a lot of fun.
Can you tell me a little bit about that first City Weekly Festival?
The fun one. So there hadn't been a beer festival in Utah in a few years, and I think the previous one was before I turned 21, but that was held at the now Smith's Ballpark. So with City Weekly, it's a little bit different than any private organizer of events and festivals. We have a relationship with, bars, restaurants, and at the time there were 9 or 10 local breweries. And if you recall, our first one was in 2010 when there was the economic crash. So some of our advertisers at the time were like, well, we can't really afford to advertise. We've been doing more and more events. We want people to taste. And so with that collaboration, we said, okay, well, we'll host an event. We'll use our, newspaper, our web presence, our emails, pre-social, but we can drive people. And so that's what we did. We organized it with locals only, and the model at the time, and I kind of wish we could do it again. It was a little hectic, but there was no law against a all-you-can-drink ticket in Utah, and so that's what we did. We promoted a $25 all-you-can-drink beer festival. It's a similar model that you'll see in like Idaho Falls. Ours was just cheaper than even that one, and that was what we did. And I remember on the Friday before the fest, we sold 300 something tickets. So we thought we were just going to get completely hosed because we rented the city and county building. We had a big old tent, bought all the beer in advance. And the day of the fest, I think we turned around something like 3,500 people. And it was so chaotic with line management because we thought we were only going to have 300 to 500 that when all those people came lines down to State Street and wrapping around the park, and we were taking money for people to come in just as fast as we were handing it over to somebody else who got pissed off and wanted a refund. So it was just nobody in their right mind should have done two after that one, but we did.
Yeah, I think people were just so excited to have a beer festival.
Yeah.
There just hadn't been a beer festival in Utah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So after that, the state did change the laws, and so that's why you can't do all you can drink anywhere. So I'll wear that on my chin. It's our fault that there's no all you can drink stuff. I think they saw too many people having a good time. But that's why we have a token-based system. That's why other events have to do a token-based system or pay-as-you-go. Yeah, the state didn't really like the.
So that was pretty cutting edge.
Yeah.
To come up with a beer festival in Utah.
Yeah.
And so you said that was a collaboration, just came between.
Us and
between
some of
you?
the brewers at the time. At the time, we had Jackie Briggs, who's now the marketing manager at the Gateway, where we'll be this year. She was the organizer with a former employee of ours, Annie Kwan, helped us. She was not working for us at the time of that event, but she helped with the first little bit. But with that and our sales reps and asking what the brewers in the market wanted at the time, because we had those relationships, they said they wanted to do more and more events because it's more beneficial. And you would know, as soon as somebody samples something, you're more likely to have them as a client than if they just saw your name somewhere. So we respected that, and that's why we wanted to go into doing samplings on behalf of our clients. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
So Mikey, the event has continued to grow and grow and grow, and now you started a trend. There's more and more events in Utah, but your event's still the biggest by far.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about this year's event?
Yeah, the Utah Beer Festival kicks ass. This is our 11th anniversary, 11th annual. We've grown every year in capacity in terms of vendor sizes, from a one-day ticket to now a two-day ticket. The most breweries represented, the most beers represented. This year we'll have 52 different breweries from Utah, regionally, nationally, international beers, over 250 beers, different types of beers. So it's our biggest in terms of beers represented and brewers represented. It's a nice accumulation of all those different styles that people are doing, different trends. 2 years ago, when seltzers first became popular, that was a big trend, and then
we had White Claw and Truly, and that was it.
Yeah, now a lot of people are doing that, so it's good to see how the beer industry changes with this event, and it's a great way to introduce new products to beer lovers in Utah. It's definitely, if you want to try different types of beers, different types of ciders, different types of seltzers, anything like that, this is the event you need to be at.
Awesome. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. It's a crazy life for lead, and we'd love to take you along for the ride. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. That really helps us. And of course, we want to hear from you. Please leave us some comments. We don't want this to be just